In 2014, Roberta knew quite a few people all over the place working with textiles in different ways. Some of them in the pure Arpillera form and others sort of adapting it. She'd asked a number of people to just sort of, what is there that you feel you need to say something about? And they interpret it with their own style of work, whether it was like very traditional or whether it went off in another direction. And I felt that that was still, to stick to the Arpillera form for me, would work best. This one is called Life With and Without Bees, and it was made in 2014 for an exhibition Roberta was putting on for a number of makers who were doing pieces about things that meant a lot to them and that they felt needed to have a voice out in the world. And this one is about the bees. So it's very, very personal to me, this one, because this is my back garden, this is my apple tree, it's our family apple tree, this is my husband, this is my children. We've also got blackberry bushes, and on that side, the left-hand side, it's life with bees. All nice, we're picking the apples, the bees are flying around, you can see them at the top. The fruit's growing, the flowers are there, we've got a picnic out of produce, and this side is if all the bees die, or if the bees reduce. It's not just my back garden, and it's not just the UK, it's not Liverpool where I come from. It's sort of everywhere where pesticides are sort of acting on the environment, destroying insect life, other plants, messing up food chains. All the Arpilleras here all tell a story. They've all got a voice, it needs to be heard. And the particular technique of the Arpillera with these tiny dolls and details is something that can draw people in. So I was hoping that people would come and say, oh, look at that little doll, oh look, there's bees there. And it stimulates people to look. They look, they think, they might go away, they might take a small action, they might take a big action, they might tell someone else about it. So that was where I was coming from with these.
Every single bee has 2 or 3 or 4 nice, beautiful wings, and they have volume. So if you have to imagine the time, the dedication to make them almost fly, they really fly to you. And it's interesting to see the public, when you don't have glass, being so careful not to touch it, and not that it says, because it's so carefully done that you respond to that care.
They sort of just hang in space. They're just so powerful. They all hang there together, but you can sort of focus in on one of them. They tell so many stories, and I know some of these stories because I've seen some of them before, and I've met some of the makers, and it's just all these a lot of them are stories of human distress and things happening in the world. Roberta will select for an exhibition and curate for an exhibition, and then they all get packed up together and they all go off to somewhere in the world, and they all have a huge impact. And then they'll come back and they'll be carefully stored again or go back to their owners. And then there'll be another exhibition and they go out. And it's this network of sort of communications all over the world so that different people are finding out about what's happening in the world. So there's all sorts of layers with these. So they're all mixed up when I come in. So when I come in here, I see the individual textiles. I see some of the makers I know that have done them. I see things about Roberta and her setting all this up. I see the stories from all the different countries. So there's just so much going on here. And you could stand in front of one of them and just look at it for, I don't know, half an hour probably, looking at it, looking at the detail, thinking about it, and then going away and thinking about it some more. So it's all like sort of little networks and little, we used to say threads. Our exhibition's called Threads of Life. And this is threads of life sort of all coming together.
It is in the expectation that at least people can respond to them in one way or the other, and to transform them also in something that you can absorb, because if you only show the tragedy, people run away or feel afraid that they can't do anything or it will happen to me. You have to make it in the context of real life. If you go to pieces where you can see that you can love, and if you want to continue loving, you need the forest. So don't cut the trees so that we can continue go and be in love. You have the ones where the women are complaining about or protesting about torture, but they are all together and they feel the strength of being together. So even though the common thing is very tragic, they have turned it into empowerment. And this thread of empowerment can be seen also in the colors. That is the idea, to be able to make people complicit, see that they can engage. We don't always will get a response or a change, but at least maybe you'll be more careful before you cut a tree. And that is a story of success, I would say. It's a story of engagement and taking responsibility, personal and social responsibility.